You mentioned environment there, and that's brought up the very common or popular kind of question at the moment about remote versus kind of in office. And I think you mentioned earlier on, actually, this sort of almost there's a bit of a maybe a movement more back into offices after obviously a period of lots of flexible remote working. What's your sort of thoughts on that, and in terms of how remote works or doesn't work for different people?
Yeah, so in lockdown, and there's been some research around this as well. So the National Autistic Society did a small piece around how did autistic individuals fare in online interviews, and actually found them to be more beneficial because they weren't having to process environment, and research has backed up that 90 to 95% of autistic individuals have a sensory processing difference. So environment really matters if you on your neuro profile is one of autism, so that was quite interesting. I think that having we are noticing that organisations are wanting to bring people back into the office more. I think that's managing that change for neurodivergent individuals. It can be a challenge, but it's if we can put a man on the moon, we can do this, right? So but I think people get very fixated about the problem and just can't seem to move this big block, right? But I think that works both ways for the individuals themselves, being able to provide good coaching, so that they can really understand what that fear is. If synaptic pruning means that, if we don't use it, we lose it. And if you've been out of the workplace for a period of time, and then it's like, no, you get back into that workplace, that's actually, for somebody, particularly if they have social anxiety, that's a barrier. That's a huge wall. Huge. So I think that it is about bringing somebody in really early on to help people navigate that change. Give them a really clear objective about, look, this is going to be happening, but we want to talk about how it happens, and we want you to be part of that process. And I think coaches can be a really, really powerful tool to support the individual to navigate that process. Often in our workplace needs assessments, we might say, I think this needs a healthy conversation about whether or not you need this person in a workplace. And we've seen some real success with that, where sometimes managers, particularly in SMEs, have kind of thought, well, no, they need to be in the office. They've just got to be here. And so our kind of, our job is to kind of just gently, with care and support, just encourage people to maybe think, do they really? And I think that's probably where our skill set comes in.